Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Welcome to the BitLab Academy daily stream. My name is Kellam, and you can find all my information on the Twitterverse right there at KELOY, We got a lot of stuff to cover today. The markets are, man, we're seeing, some frustrating times the last couple of months, but when you zoom out, you realize we've been in an uptrend. And pullbacks, much like I forget who asked earlier in the chat pre-show. By the way, anybody that's not showing up at 10 o'clock, even though we're going live at 10:15, the stream is open at 10 o'clock. We're in here chatting, and those that want to see specific things looked at, when we get a couple people saying those projects, we do Turbo TA on those projects at the end. So everybody get in here early. But somebody asked about Bitcoin Cash and whether it's that asset or any asset, this rings true. If, is it going to get a retrace? Well, the question is for any asset, if it goes up, the truth is, it will have a retrace. If it goes down, it will have a relief rally. Markets move in cycles. If it goes up, it will soon come down. If it goes down, it will soon come up. And in this case, when we zoom out on Bitcoin from the beginning of the year, we have been in an uptrend and we have been fighting off. Think about how much crazy news we've had in the last 2 months, 3 months, really. I mean, really all year. I mean, all the way since March 2020, let's be honest, the news cycle has made us numb. But we've had cascading bank failures, some of the biggest banks in history. We've had the SEC bringing all these charges against all these different projects being securities, or are they just allegations, or are they really securities? Over the weekend, Gary Gensler to resign, or has resigned. It's confirmed, but is it? Doesn't look like it's so true. But is there a circumstance, which is fairly likely, where Gary Gensler could be resigning? And not for the reasons you think. Well, we're going to be diving into that today, but we also see that Bitcoin is holding above the 30,000 mark. And in addition to that, we have closed out an incredible monthly candle. And along with that monthly candle, which is far more powerful than a 1 minute candle or a 5 minute candle or even a 4-hour candle or a daily candle, monthly, you're really getting an idea of the trend, especially when you're looking anything over daily and above, daily, 3-day, weekly, whatever division you want to do of time. We're setting up very strong, and we talk about moving averages a lot when we're trying to identify where those highly probable trades are. We got a signal that flashed on this monthly close on Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern time that has never flashed before ever in the history of Bitcoin, and that also has a little bit to do with the growth of the space, as well as the time, the time and signals, the signals that have been afforded by the limited amount of time that the Bitcoin and digital asset ecosystem has even been around. We're still young, still very young. But we see a MACD crossing bullishly on the 20-week and the 200-week over the weekend. What does this mean? Well, we're going to dive into that, but we're also seeing a lot of other signals. We're seeing the squeeze of volatility. What the hell is a squeeze of volatility? It means the price action. When it moves up very quickly, you get an expansion in volatility. We can read this by the Bollinger Bands. When you see price action, as crazy as it may feel, when you zoom out to like a 12-hour chart or a daily chart, you start to see that volatility over the last, basically more regional, smaller, last couple of weeks. We're seeing the fact that that volatility is tightening. And what happens in all markets? Cycles. It's not just cycles and price action going up and going down. What also happens is cycles in all the different signals data. So if you see an expansion in volatility, then that means shortly thereafter, at some point, there's going to be a contraction of volatility, meaning price finds a region and consolidates in that zone. And then when you have that consolidation in that zone, meaning a tighter and tighter price range, then at some point you're going to have, then again, an expansion in volatility. Well, let's dive into all that. We got a lot to talk about today. If you haven't yet, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell, join us here. If this is your first time, I can guarantee you it's not going to be your last time. Join us in our community. We've got a wonderful group of people in here. All the regulars are in the house, and we always get new people. We're pushing up. Let me go ahead and pull it up on my other screen. Man, and by the way, everybody, I can't say fully, but I'm basically fully moved into my spot. I got a couple more things I need to get, especially for like my home office studio and maybe some art on the walls in my bedroom. But my living room, my kitchen, everything is pretty much there. So I'm very excited about that. You will be seeing me probably once a week, sometimes twice a week, doing some streams from my home. So just shout out to everybody, appreciate all the love and support. And it's exciting to finally be living in Atlanta and not having to travel back and forth to New York, between New York and Atlanta. So, you know, moves are hard, but sometimes, you know, it's all about the way your mind is. New beginnings. And with those new beginnings, you have an easier opportunity to form new habits and start new, healthier routines in those new environments. And in this case, I'm trying to do that, you know, morning workouts, as well as eating a little bit healthier, as well as keeping my place clean, because a clean space helps support a clean mind, and a clean mind helps support healthy trading. So let's go ahead and dive into all of the things. Make sure, if you're not yet, that you come over to youtube.com/@BitLab Academy. Am I silly for saying that? You might be watching here on the show. Yeah, but this is also run on the 24-hour stream for Hit Network. It's also clipped in other places. So if you're watching any of those other places, make sure you're following us here. We're pushing up at 7,820 here just in the matter of about 5 months. We're almost at 8,000. Pre-10,000. And as I mentioned before, we are going to be doing something special for everybody that is a subscribed member joined here in the channel before we hit that 10,000 mark. So get involved. Make sure you're subscribed. If you're not yet, I don't know what you're doing. If you haven't hit the like button yet, I don't know. That means you don't support crypto. Whether or not you like this channel or not, if you watch me just to hate me, that's okay. You're watching, and that's what this is about. We want YouTube and other media outlets to realize that the people watching are really enjoying it. And the easiest way you can help crypto is hitting that like button on any channel that you're watching. So make sure you're following us. And of course, if you haven't yet, checked out bitlabacademy.com. Check it out. That coupon code is still active. Give me 30. We got all these different courses in here that you can go through. We got a lot of stuff in the works for a bigger, you know, a continued expansion of this. Yeah, so just get involved. Just click right here, enroll now. You'll see at the top of the screen, there's a BitLab Pro, which is all of our indicators, as well as premium Discord, as well as access to all our courses, current and in the future. And as well as that, we also have the all access. If you scroll down that page, which is $37.99, you can use the coupon code GIVEME30. There's also the beginners course, which you're free to share with your friends and all that kind of stuff. It's free. And basically you get to learn, for anybody that you want to share with, you know, what is blockchain, what is Bitcoin, you know, crypto beginners, basic introduction to some of the stuff in the charts and signals and stuff like that. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the content for the day. If you haven't yet, make sure you follow me at Kelly Kellam. That's Kelly Kellam. Look for the blue check, look for the hit logo. And then, of course, make sure you're following us over here at Academy BitLab. Come down to today's stream, hit that retweet, hit that like button, get involved. Now, what are we talking about today? Well, first things first, I'm just going to go through these one by one. I hope they're in the right order. Throw one in chat right now if all the audio, visual, everything is working correctly. We got a lot to talk about today, so let's dive into it. First thing first, Bitcoin MACD just turned green on the monthly chart, signaling the start of a bull market. I think that should actually be a question mark, because we're seeing conflicting signals here. And one of the things I want to do today, before we dive into the charts, I want to show you all how much data you can get using something as simple as Twitter. Even if you don't have TradingView or you're not sure what's going on, there's still some basics you need to understand. We see right here, this is the last, this is 2 MACD crosses ago. We actually 3, because we have one right here. This was the global catastrophe right here. We could see right here, this was, you know, we basically a little bit shy of the halving, and we got basically the start of the parabolic uptrend from there. We also got a bullish cross here. This is on, yeah, we could see right here. Yeah, sorry, I was confusing myself with the EMAs and the MACD. So we could see right here, this was this cross bullish on the MACD, and then we got a sell-off, and then the global catastrophe March 2020 right here, and then we got the parabola. This is why you get the double sort of signal here, right here and right here. Now on this one, if you drag the cursor directly up here, we see this was the start of a very strong trend. Now, what does this show us? First thing I want you to realize, what is a MACD? MACD is a moving average convergence divergence. So you're seeing an expansion or contraction in momentum, either to the upside or to the downside. What we're seeing is a fast moving average, which is this one right here. I think it's the 9 and the 13. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, we could see the 12 and the 26. That's what this is. We can see it right here on the info data right here. So what we're seeing is a faster moving average and a slower moving average, but either way, they're both going to be somewhat laggard. They're both going to be somewhat slower than what's actually happening in the charts, because it's taking the average of everything happening over the last, in this case, we're on the monthly, we're seeing the last 12 months and the last 26 months. So it's going to be aggregating and dividing the average of all the price action over the 12 period or the 26 period, you know, one being almost twice as slow as the other, which is why you get these crosses. One, you know, as price is dropping, we see this start to move quicker on the faster moving average. And then as this moves down, it takes a longer period of time for this to slowly curve its way down. This is why the faster moving average will cross before the slower moving average. But what we're generally seeing here, I just want you to take note, this does not mean all systems go and it's only going to be up from here. This is suggesting that the momentum on the faster moving average on the MACD has moved such that it is basically, you can see the swing in the market over time is sustaining on this faster moving average. It is sustaining that momentum has moved to the upside sufficiently enough that it is crossing above the slower moving average. Now, the reason why this is important is because when you're looking at, for instance, a 4-hour chart, the 4-hour chart can inform what's going to happen if it sustains on the daily chart, and so on and so forth. The daily chart price action can inform where the momentum and price action is going if it sustains in that direction on the 3-day or on the weekly, and so on and so forth. So what we're seeing here on the monthly, on the macro, is that the macro moving averages, the macro price action is informing the moving averages in such a sustainable way that we can see from this dark red to this lighter, almost white, pinkish right here. This is expansion to the downside, and we see this happening here. And then this is contraction to the upside. So we're seeing these swings in momentum, okay? And the MACD on the monthly is showing that we have sustained an uptrend for a period of time long enough to inform the moving average signal, the MACD, that price action is, really moving to the upside. Now, the reason why this is important is because what this does is it gives us a visual symbol, a visual signal of what the sustained sentiment of price action has been. Because remember, price action on a chart is essentially providing us the data of what the psychological sentiment is overall, the aggregate psychological sentiment of all people trading this market. So when you see a sustained uptrend, and it's, especially on a monthly and on the MACD, which is a somewhat laggard indicator, we're seeing a sustained momentum shift back to the upside. So we're seeing a macro signal that momentum is shifted, not just something on a smaller time frame that could be an impulse. So that's why this is important. Now, moving on to this next chart here, I want you to, if you're not following Tech Dev, definitely give him a follow at TechDev_52. Make sure you're following the correct one. He's got a lot of followers, and there's a lot of fake accounts out there. He's got about 414, almost 1,000 followers, but he always puts out really great data. And what we're seeing here is sure looks to be building a macro parabola. What is a parabola? Well, if we come back over to this right here, let's go ahead and zoom out. A parabola is when you get any sort of data that signals something like this. Price action starting to move exponentially to the upside. This is important because, as we know, in the 4-year cycle, or 210,000 blocks, which is what the 4-year cycle is based on for Bitcoin, which is all somewhat surrounding or informed by the halving cycle, the halving of rewards for Bitcoin miners who are securing the network. If we look at this on the 3-day, we could see a clear parabola, fake impulse with the BART pattern right here, and then a true parabola to basically exponentially moving to the upside. We take this off. I don't know how I can do it anymore. Take off the logarithmic. We can see this is, okay. This is what a parabola looks like without logarithmic. You see this price action? I mean, just from here to here, that's a 35% move. And then we see from here to the next impulse up is a 92% move. And then we see from here to this next top is 114%. You see how it's the momentum to the upside is expanding. This is basically how you can think of what a parabola is. Now, putting back on the logarithmic, I don't know why I did that. There we go. Now, okay, let me actually come back over here. Boom, boom, boom. What I want you to notice is, as an analyst, what you're trying to do when you're trying to identify what price may be doing. And by the way, any of you that are trading, if you're actively trading or you have traded a buy or a sell other than just a DCA in the last month, throw a 1 in chat. I want to see how many people in here are actively in some sort of regularity navigating the market, buying and selling. Even if you're doing it once a month, you know, if you're buying and it's any point you're selling, then you are at some regularity, you know, attempting to navigate this market. And what we want to do is look left on the chart. And what I'm doing here is I'm utilizing a free tool known as Twitter, where, especially in crypto, by the way, I had a Twitter account all the way since 2010. I never used, I think I had 2 tweets. You can look me up on socialblade.com/Kelly Kellam. You'll see I did not use my account at all from 2010 until I started working with the Crypto Jeb team, August 2021. Okay. And I was like, well, you know, really get involved on the public side of crypto. You know, the town hall where everybody gathers really is, okay, YouTube has a lot, yes, but Twitter, there's so much good free content on there. The trick is you have to sift through it, and you have to look at different viewpoints, not just bullish. And so on this case, we can see Tech Dev shared this chart, and what we're seeing is this downtrend, downtrend, downtrend. Okay, now what's the next thing that follows? Okay, we come up here. There's a basically breakout above this level and a retest of it. Okay, breakout above this level and a retest of it. Okay, now here, breakout above this level and a sort of you know, consolidation on each one of these with a retest and then an expansion beyond. So we see the blue dot, the breakout. Blue dot is basically the candle right at or before the breakout. We see here breakout. And then we get the yellow dot, which is a retest down, yellow dot, retest down, yellow dot, retest down. By the way, these symbols that he's putting on here are just for visual representation. This is not some indicator or anything. This is just something that he can utilize to make it understandable of what he's looking at. Then we see, now after this yellow dot, we see basically a break above this previous level. Here's the previous level, break above it. We see that sort of spinning top there, retrace down to test that level, retest down to test this level, retest down to test this level, or retrace down, I should say. And then we have the expansion continuation to the upside. This is the yellow dot, or the orange triangle. So we've done this 1, 2. Are we forming the same sort of thing, which is somewhat on the same sort of cycle as what's going on when we think about the 210,000 blocks, or the 3 years and 10 months, which is we typically just, everybody refers to it as a 4-year cycle, but it's usually depends on how fast this 210,000 blocks basically happen. So now there's more data on this chart. So let's go ahead, take my face off here. Let's look at the bottom. This is RSI, okay? And we can see this downtrend in the RSI, downtrend in the RSI, downtrend in the RSI, okay? What's the next thing? Test of this moving average, test of the moving average, test of the moving average. And then the breakout here, and you see on all these breakouts, the breakout happens, and then the RSI, aka the relative strength, aka the data that's being collected to see where the strength in the market is. This is also testing You know, this case is testing just above, you know, about the, looks like it's about the 60 line, a little under the 60 line. And I'm looking at this measurement over here, this y-axis on the right. And then once it retests down, a continuation of the upside, Is that what's in play here? We're seeing a number of similarities on these two that is now being demonstrated currently with this current price action. So is this something we can expect? Well, this is but one chart. Let's look to more. And as Alexander G says, have you hit that like button? Get involved. We got 142 people in the room and only 79 of you are raised well by your mother. Getting involved. We put this content out for free for you here. The easiest thing you can do to just show a little love and appreciation is hit that like button and join our channel. Now, coming on to the next thing here, I want to look at all of this. Is we see a large expansion of volatility to the, in this case, it's to the upside. So is there any signals? This is the next thing my mind goes to. Is there any signals that suggest that there is basically supports this narrative of consolidation? Is there going to be expansion? Well, let's go to the next chart. Let's look at Matthew Hyland. You can find him at Matthew Hyland _. We see this right here. Now, what are we looking at here? We got two bold yellow lines and the price action. What the heck is this supposed to mean? These are known as Bollinger Bands. BB Squeeze is talking about the Bollinger Band squeeze. This is a traditional asset. A lot of the signals we use in crypto, there are new ones, of course, but some of the tried and true signals we use, because signals can be used on any assets that's traded on a market that you could chart, is something made by John Bollinger in the 90s. And essentially what it's doing is, if we kind of come over here, this is just a quick little lesson for you all. If we come over here, let's go ahead and throw on the Bollinger Bands. Bollinger Bands, you see I got my little star here. You can also come right here to favorites and come down Bollinger Bands, boom. Everything that you star when you're searching for stuff goes into your favorites here, so it's easy to follow. Now, if we look at this, we see, let's actually go to another chart. I want to go to something that doesn't have anything charted on it. So what we're seeing here with Bollinger Bands is we got three components, okay? We've got this line in the middle, this upper band, and this lower band. Well, let's understand what this is before we try to draw inference from it, okay? The middle line is a 20 simple moving average. This is a standard, just simple moving average of the price action averaged over the last 20 periods. So if you're looking at this case, let's look at the daily. If we're looking at the daily, then this central line that's moving here is, I'm actually going to turn off the VPVR just so we're only seeing this. The central line is, if we look right here, this is an average of the last 20 candles price action, because you see this moves up and it drops down and it moves up. This line moves slower than what's happening on the price action. This is a 20 SMA, simple moving average. Now, this blue line above and the blue line below, the one above is two standard deviations in price action, accounting for essentially, statistically, we've seen that this is where over 95% of the price action has been over the last 20 period. So if we're looking at the daily, over the last 20 days, averaged, this band right here is two standard deviations of all the price action of where you can expect price to be with a 95% probability based on the data signals that are being read. And then down here below, same thing, two standard deviations of where the price action will likely be based on the last 20 period. Now, we can see with regularity, we get these expansions and contractions. Expansion, contraction. Each time we get this contraction, there tends to be a cycle that's happening on the volatility within this asset. In this case, we're looking at Filecoin, but you can utilize it for knowing where there's some essentially some, I don't want to call them boundaries, suggested regions in which price action will likely get rejected or supported. Rejected meaning if price is coming up, it does push up, it breaks a Bollinger Band. And what we're seeing here, especially we're in a downtrend here, this for me is looking like, getting up into this region right here, option J, we can see, let's make that a little brighter. There we go. Previous price action low. This is breaking the sort of boundary of this upper band on the Bollinger Band. And so this is telling me we're already out of the norm of what has happened over the last 20 days based on a 95% probability. And so for me, this is already, breaking that norm. And then we came into a previous price action low. This is telling me this is likely going to reverse. Now, in this case, what we're seeing here, this is a different story. You see, what's the difference between this? What's the difference between this right here pushing up into this zone and this right here breaking this band? What's the difference here? Ask yourself that. Are there similarities or are there differences? In this case, what we can see is on, where's my thing? On this case, we could see we broke above this previous low, okay? So now we're coming up to test a high rather than a low. So this is change of character. And look at the expansion of volatility here in this. Now, we're talking about Bitcoin. I just wanted to use a chart because these signals work on all assets. We're looking at Filecoin here. Filecoin. Let's go back to Bitcoin and let's go ahead and talk about what is going on. It's actually come over to this chart right here. So these are the Bollinger Bands. He took out the 20 SMA. But what we're seeing is here, you see right here, look at this, finding support. This did break, but it came right back in towards that 20 simple moving average, right? Now, this broke this broke below and then got sucked right back into the Bollinger Band sort of cloud, if you want to call it that, or within the boundaries, and tested right up, you see right towards the middle, right around where that 20 simple moving average is, and then lost it. Now it's getting rejected on it each step of the way. If we see this directly on the Bitcoin chart, let's go ahead and bring this up large. Let's go to a chart that, okay, here we go. We're going to remove, there we go. So let's go to the 12-hour. Now you see, this is the same thing that he was showing on this chart, but with this chart, we see all the signals. We see the upper and lower band and the 20 simple moving average. So my point was here, when this fell down, you see this fell below the it fell below the lower band of the Bollinger Band, got sucked right back up into it, but immediately got rejected right in the region of the 20 simple moving average. Broke down, tested 20 simple moving average, broke down, found support on the lower band, came up, got rejected at the 20 simple moving average, broke down, found support on the lower band. And then essentially now what's the difference between this and this? This sliced right through the 20 simple moving average. And now we have a change of trend in terms of the behavior of what we're looking at here with the Bollinger Bands. This actually not only broke through the 20 simple moving average, pushed up into the upper band, okay, got rejected, consolidated here, and then broke right up and just large expansion up. Now, what I really find interesting about this is rather than push up and get rejected at the 20 simple moving average and then continue losing down, and different case here, this case tested the top of the band, this case tested the top of the band here too, and then immediately was pushed down back to the 20 simple moving average. Major difference with this is this sliced through the 20 simple moving average, tested the upper band, consolidated, and then retested the band and broke out. Now, it didn't have to come back down to 20 to test the 20 simple moving average. This shows a sustained strength holding up here at this level and letting the 20 simple moving average on this, in this case, a 12-hour, 20 different 12-hour candles. It sustained sideways. This is known as a consolidation. Price is consolidating at this level. Some buys and sells. Nobody's really taking lead in terms of bullish or bearish narrative. And it lets the 20 simple moving average come all the way up until the price action meets that 20 simple moving average because it's got sucked up by the strength of the bulls holding that level. Rather than here testing this upper band or here testing this upper band, getting rejected and going back down to test the 20 simple moving average. Here, push up, consolidation, it brought the 20 simple moving average to them. So this is what we're looking at right now. Now, in addition to that, this large expansion, look at this large, look at the large width between here and the top band. That's a 32% gap on the Bollinger Bands. And then it's consolidating. And now we have about a 2.5% gap. So this is what's known as a contraction of volatility. Now, if we pull up another indicator here, BBWP, Bollinger Band width percentile, this is just looking specifically at the actual width of the bands. So you can see right here, see this on the bottom here. If we look right here, this is showing when this is very high, the Bollinger Band width is very wide, meaning that there is a very volatile move. And if you get this very volatile move, typically shortly after this very volatile move, what you get is a contraction of volatility, AKA a consolidation. Boring. When you get a contraction of volatility and it's very boring, then the cycle moves back to go back to a lot of expansion. Key thing to note here, volatility does not mean up. Volatility means a large movement in price, either up or down. So because we're seeing this contraction of volatility, consolidation of price action, we need to make sure that we're looking at all the other signals that we have at our disposal using the wide array of technical data that's available to us from moving averages and buy and sell signals that we determine based on a confluence of multiple signals, horizontal and diagonal levels of support and resistance, Fibonacci levels of support or resistance, golden pockets, previous highs and lows, all the things that we want to look at, the volume data based on where there's high volume nodes or volume gaps. We can use all this together in concert so that we can make an informed decision. So looking here, this is contracted very deeply, okay? We can see, here's another example right here. Expansion right here, back into contraction. Contraction as it consolidates, and then expansion up, okay? So we also see right here, here's another example, the opposite example. This started contracting right here. We can tell by this coming down right here, or just looking at the Bollinger Bands very tight together. And then this broke out bearishly to the downside, okay? And then next one right here, contracted again, and then it broke out bullishly. So this is giving us a signal, not what direction it's going. It's saying a move is coming. So throw a 1 in chat if you are excited about this move, whether it breaks bullish or bearish. Throw a 2 in chat if you only want it going bullish. We're going to see a lot of 2s. Throw a 3 in chat if you just don't care. You're just looking at data and trading any direction the market gives you signal on. Well, we're seeing this on the 12-hour right here. This is setting up. The money flow is holding above. It did contract a little bit, but the money flow is holding above the positive line here, this zero line. So this is somewhat bullish. Another thing we're seeing right here is that the RSI has come down and is holding bullishly here. And by the way, everybody, I cannot wait to share with you the massive overhaul we have been working on with all of the BitLab trading stack. One of the things I'm trying to do leading up to that is give you guys a lot of alpha on traditional indicators so that you can really understand what's going on the BitLab trading stack when we roll it out, because the current one we have is absolutely phenomenal. It's phenomenal. The relative extrema, hidden volume, significant movement, and the market intelligence. But what we're doing is we're consolidating so you don't have 4 different things open on your screen, to where you can have basically a candles signal indicator that's combining a lot of the stuff that we have, basically all the stuff that we have here. We're going to present it in a much easier to understand way. This is still giving me incredible signal, but we want to make sure everybody, beginner and pro, can utilize this. So I'm trying to really drill into you the traditional indicator, how you're reading this. So when you see the new BitLab trading stack, you have a basic understanding of all the things you need to, and it's visually very easy to understand. So get involved there and keep tuning in on a daily basis. We're seeing 12-hour, we see this contraction of the volatility as we just we're looking at. Now, if we come down to, let's go to the 4-hour, Let's put on the BBWP. Now, on the daily, now we're getting it on the daily as well. So this is what we want to look for. If you're looking at the 12-hour, the 12-hour says there may be a signal breakout, or there may be a signal that's saying a breakout is coming. What does the daily say? Go down to a smaller time, the 4-hour. If we looked at the 12-hour, we divided it down. We're looking at better resolution. We're seeing stochastics are kind of overheated. This is a little concerning on the 4-hour, and the money flow has come down, but we are showing signs of an expansion in volatility is probably coming very soon. So what does this mean? Well, in this case, we see the momentum has shifted to the upside, but it looks a little stalled out. We're seeing that the, let's go put this on the basically about the 50 line, option J. RSI is also sitting on the edge of staying bullish or breaking bearish. Stochastics are very high, but you can see right here, stochastics were very high here. We had a consolidation and then a little bit of a pullback and then a large move to the upside. So what does this indicate? To me, this indicates that there likely could be I don't want to call it a manipulation. There likely could be a movement in the price action that is a wick down and then a continuation to the upside. Or maybe not a wick, but maybe a small movement down and then continuation to the upside. This does not have to happen. I'm only suggesting this because the momentum, the faster moving stochastics move faster than the RSI. Is suggesting that things are looking like they may need to come back down and test like the 50 line or something like that, which is if we put where that's at, that's right. But maybe not even the 50 line, but test down at least somewhere, cool off a little bit. This doesn't have to happen. This very well could consolidate a little longer and we could get that impulse up before that and then get the pullback. But I'm preparing myself on a bearish possibility, and this is actually still very bullish, but a bearish impulse. I'm protecting myself in the way that I'm navigating the market because this is a possibility. Volatility inbound, stochastics overheated. This suggests that there's a possibility that the price action does wash the people out and then have a continuation to the upside. Now let's get better resolution yet. Still, 1 hour. Okay. This isn't giving us as clear a signal. It does show stochastics came down. It did test. Look at this. Exactly as I was talking about. Did come down and test and now is bouncing and making a move to the upside. The RSI is angled directly up. This has given me more confidence in a bullish move, less confidence in a bearish washout. Maybe we got that with this test to the downside right here. We can see we are sitting, you sucker. We can see that we are sitting right here. Okay, so we got a little bit on a 1 hour option T. We got a little bit of a trend that we're bouncing off of here. So I'm definitely, this is why we look at multiple time frames. 12 hours suggests a high probability of a big move coming. 4 hour also did. It looked a little questionable, but the 1 hour chart is suggesting here, look at this. We had a little bit of a downtrend on the money flow, peak to the upside, downtrend on the money flow, bigger peak to the upside now. So what we can do, because now we have 2 points, option T, we can, so what am I doing here? I saw these 2 points here could be connected, and I wanted to see if there was any connection to the outside. Not really, but yeah. So what we can see here is maybe there's a possibility that this next impulse to the upside is going to actually bring a larger bit of money flow, which would make sense because the winds are shifting in the narrative about what's going on with the market. The winds are shifting more bullishly. You know, we had that huge rumor about Gary Gensler potentially resigning over the weekend. I mean, I shared it just as like, is this even possible? My tweet got like 300,000 views. So people want that, but I don't think it's going to be the case. There is a reason, though, that may bring here in a couple months that he may be resigning on a political tact level, and I'll bring that up here in a second. So 1 hour is showing that if we're able to break, this level here, 30,000, let's call it 30,800. If we break past that, I do think that we're actually going to be testing up here again, 120. And if we break that, I think people are getting very excited for a move. So I think we need to pay attention, because looking at this chart, it does suggest that we may be testing higher. The only hesitation I have is that we do have a bit of a rising channel here, which could indicate that we do get this push up, test this, and potentially come back down to this level, because rising channels tend to break bearish. I do think the winds are leaning to a bullish favor, though, so let's keep that in mind. Now, let's go ahead and back over to where we're talking about here, MACD. Okay, now this is something else that we want to look at. This is back to the 12-hour chart. This is back to the post from Matthew Hyland. It's a 12-hour consolidating over the past week, while RSI, this is what we want to see, not just a signal on the 12-hour, on the candles. What are the strength and momentum indicators doing? In this case, we see the RSI. He basically graphed this. We can see we had a downtrend. We are right at a level of critical resistance on this diagonal trend line. If this does break out, this gives a lot of fuel to the fire, because people are watching this. People aren't just watching price candles. People with big money, people that are smart, people that have been in this, even if you don't have money, maybe you have 10,000 in the market, but maybe you traded it up for 100. That means you got some skills in the market. People are watching stuff like this. The RSI, downtrend. If this breaks, this also provides further fuel to the narrative for the bulls, and price action could see a quick move to the upside, in addition to all the shorts that are sitting directly overhead that could get liquidated, which would just add more fuel to the fire. This is how those cascading runs start into that parabola, but we've got to protect ourselves. So let's go on to the next chart here. Okay. In shorter term Bitcoin, E2 chart, cup with handle pattern is also seen, and breakout from the handle is about to happen. The short-term target is $39,000. Now, what is this? This is a 2-day chart. So we were looking at the 12-hour. Let's look at the 2-day. See, you can get these charts if you just follow the right people. And I break down a lot of people you can follow in the BitLab Academy courses as well. So let's come over here. Let's zoom out on this, double click on this, minimize the other stuff. Let's go ahead and make this. Let's go ahead and make this a orange line, because I think this is possible, but I'm leaning more bullish the more I'm looking at these charts. So now what I can do is just press 2 and then the letter D. That gives you a 2-day chart. You don't have to go up here for everything, just so y'all know. You can also press 5. It'll be a 5-minute chart, or you can do 1M for 1-month chart, whatever you want. And you can see the little window right here tells you what it is. So say 2, if I put M, that's month. If I don't put anything, it's minute. If I put a D, it's days. So 2-day. Okay, we're looking at this. Double click on the right thing, makes it auto. Now look at this beautiful, beautiful cup and handle. Let's go ahead and, these charts. Go yellow. Now we see cup, and then this is a handle right here. We've already had like a partial breakout, because technically this is a handle. The more conservative players, the people that make it a great deal farther than a lot of people in the space, are ones that actually, you can trade this breakout here. Sure. I would do it with the notion of taking profit at this neckline. Okay. And so if you did that, excellent. Now you're setting up for another potential solid move, because look at this. We have the basically cup and handle. This is the next level that we can watch for a breakout, which would be, potentially up and then continuation. Now let's go ahead and clean up some of those. There we go. Now, what do we do here to measure it? Well, what we do is we come over here to trend line, or you can press Command T or Alt T if you have a keyboard, which I know you do. Alt T on PC, Command Option. I always say Command, not my bad. Option T. And you go from this neckline here, and you go down to basically the deepest level. We can be a little conservative. Let's go to this kind of level right here. I like to be just a little conservative sometimes. And what we do then is we take this and we measure it like this, and this gives us a projected target. This is called pattern trading. You can utilize the price action of previous, a previous time frame, and you see a pattern that's formed. And people have gone and seen how the behavior, essentially you're mapping out the behavior, what the result in that behavior is. And when you break this, when you sort of break out of this behavioral pattern and narrative shifts, which is, this is a bearish reversal back to bullish sort of pattern. You can measure this from the neckline down to the base of this level. The neckline here, you can actually draw it one of two ways. Option, let's do Command T. You can kind of get a range here like this from the breakout of this handle and the breakout of this neckline, and we can kind of get a range here. Go like this. This is correct. There we go. Front run it like this. It's just going to be a little more conservative. And then what we can do, find any confluence, Option F, top to bottom. And we can see golden pocket is right here in the middle of this range. So we have the price action reversal pattern right here, as well as a fib from this entire move, suggesting that we've got a range breakout that's perfectly in line with what's going on with the fibs. Now, does this mean we just say, hey, it's going to go straight to 46 to $50,000? No, I think it could reach there, but we need to take this level by level because there's so much going on in the space right now with all the news back and forth. But for whatever reason, I don't know why he's got oh, this is so this was a larger one. I didn't look at this too closely. And then we also have essentially, let's go ahead, zoom in here. This is a larger cup and handle, and we also have the smaller time frame cup and handle right here, and this is it right here. So we can draw this. So now we have the macro cup and handle. Now we also have this sort of guy right here. And we got the handle right here. And what we do here is, I just said here 42 times. We can draw from basically this sort of neckline right here. Option T. And this is why I love having, you see how I have my cursors, the crosshairs that dot all the way across the screen? I love doing this so I don't have to draw a neckline. I can just move my mouse. I can see with my cursors where those points of interest are. And so I'm going to kind of go like this. I'm going to move this because this is the deepest point right here. And we take this point and we move this just like this. This is a handle. And so now we can see this takes us up to, mine is a little more conservative than his, around 37.6. So what is it, 37.6? Do I have any other levels that I've drawn there from before? Well, let's go over here back to our BitGet, not the Bitstamp. Let's go back to our BitGet chart. Let's see what's up around 37.5. So basically, we have this basically nearly $36,000 level. Let's see Bitstamp. Look at these three zones right here. And the top side of this zone right here is right at, look at that, 37.3, 37, 38,000. These targets are not only from that cup and handle that we just mapped out, but we can also see the breakout of this bull flag that we had done before goes perfectly in this zone as well. There's a lot of signals on different time frames with different patterns that are suggesting that there is support and momentum that's moving us in the direction to break above this $31,000 level. A lot of confluence with multiple things. So this is what we want to look at. So let me go ahead and zoom in. I have not been, and this light is just bright. I usually have my hat on, so I don't usually see what's, I don't have the light in my eyes, but man, it is bright. Go ahead. Where's my mouse? I just want to see any questions, thoughts you guys have. Ooh, are you guys bullish? I'm bullish, baby. We got 162 people in the room, 109 people watching. So one concern I have here, though, is through all this, you see how large this volume spike is? Now, this kind of makes sense because the bull's defending this macro previous resistance, trying to make sure we're flipping it as support. So we got a lot of volume here. We're getting a little bit weaker volume. There's a little bit of a bearish divergence on volume here, but I'm okay with that for right now. I do think there's going to be a lot of volume coming in. People are sitting here kind of, there's still some players on the sidelines, but we still have other great news to talk about here. And that is, let's do that. And we're going to go over a couple articles real quick. It's going to be about 10 minutes. And then we're going to do the last 20 minutes, all TAs. So all you early birds, everybody that was here between 10 and 10:15, when we have the pre-show chat before the show starts, you all gave us a bunch of coins, and I'm going to try and hit up most of those. Okay, now let's see. First question is Crypto Pollo. What are your thoughts to Gary? Well, let's actually talk about that because I have something here. So is SEC Gary Gensler resigning? Here's the deal. I do think it's actually bound to happen, but I don't think it's going to be because of an internal investigation or this or that. I think it's actually going to be, as John Deaton kind of pointed out here, not yet, but entering an election year season, and the more of a political liability Gary Gensler becomes, a greater chance it's going to happen. He's talking about this, about maybe he gets pushed out because he's becoming a liability on all the pressures he's causing and frustrations in the market. However, in addition to that, this is key right here. It may be recalled that Gensler may be inclined to run for the Senate seat in Maryland, where he's from, in the context of retirement of Senator Ben Cardin in 2024. So there's going to be a senator seat opening up 2024. Hence, it is speculated that Gensler's roots in Baltimore, Maryland, could make him an ideal candidate for Senate. John Deaton, the attorney representing SRP holders in the Ripple versus SEC case, believes SEC's chair's resignation is a big possibility in the coming months due to political action. So he could either be sort of pushed out because he's causing frustration on the political landscape, as we are going into a political election seasons. But he could also be, essentially throwing his hat in to take over that position in Maryland. So there's a lot of stuff there. I don't think he's just going to be, resigning on a Sunday. If you're seeing news or something like that, that news is not going to come out until, a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, general weekdays. So we need to pay attention to that. Now, next thing I wanted to point out is right here. All these things we're talking about, we're leaning bullish. The signals are leaning bullish. Are there any fundamentals to back it up? Well, institutional investors are stocking up on Bitcoin. So let's go ahead and look at this right here. CryptoQuant noted in a tweet today that institutional investors are increasing their positions in Bitcoin. The analytics platform speculated that institutional investors have a positive long-term outlook for Bitcoin. At press time, Bitcoin was trading at 30,649, offering it blah, 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 I say. So what we're seeing here, institutional fund accumulation trends. Look at this large increase in institutional fund accumulation. So they are, there's a lot of Bitcoin and funds like ARK, like Bito, like MicroStrategy. There's a lot of those basically accumulation of those now. So blah, 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 blah. So CryptoQuant on-chain analytics program revealed Twitter earlier today that institutional investors comprising hedge funds, this is a big one. This is hundreds of millions of dollars. Investment firms, hundreds of millions and billions of dollars is really what I should say. And trillions, thinking about BlackRock and it's a lot. So much money. It's mind-blowing how much money is out there in the world. And cryptocurrency private funds are increasingly bolstering their crypto portfolios with Bitcoin. So this means this is incredible. This upward trend in fund holdings underscores the institutional players' belief in Bitcoin's long-term value. So they're scaling up. There's retail and a lot of futures ETFs that have been, we've seen a lot of movement and a lot of increase in sentiment and buying on those futures ETFs. Okay, huge spike in volume, but we're also seeing these basically institutional funds and institutional investors also stocking up on Bitcoin. Water break, everybody. So the analytics platform believes that institutional entities are adopting a more patient approach, actively seeking out long-term investment opportunities in Bitcoin. This is in contrast to short-term investors who closely monitor price fluctuations. When a hedge fund buys an asset, or when Michael Saylor, who basically is like a hedge fund in and of itself, buys Bitcoin, he's not watching the 3-hour chart, the 4-hour chart, the daily chart. He's checking into the price action periodically. Now he's very tied into, all these large institutional players are tied into what's going on in markets, but they're not like, you know, the day trader that's in there trading a 2-hour, you know, sideways trend. So there's strength in that. And there's opportunity when price does fall. They have different algorithms that automatically add to their positions. So when you have stronger players involved in the market, then you get stronger price action and sustainable price action. So what's the next one? Okay. The other thing we wanted to show, we already talked about this. The other thing we wanted to show was, before we do more TA on a bunch of altcoins, everybody hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell if you haven't yet. Get involved, show some love. It's the easiest way you can help support this channel and to help support crypto. So looking here, we can zoom out on this. Now I want to go to the monthly. Now I want to go to the EMA. We got the 20, let's go to the 20, 200. I think it's a 50 in the 200 though, not the 20 in the 200. Oh, I can't do it on this chart. Can I? Weekly. I forget which one it was. I looked at so many charts the last 2 days. Yeah, so here we go. We have the 20-week moving average and the 50-week in the 200. This is, you know, coming down. We get a death cross here. Death cross happens and we get the bottom very shortly after. So now we're getting this golden cross here on the 1 week, sorry, the 20 week and the 200 week. Now, what does it look like on the monthly? Did we get this on the monthly as well? I'm so disoriented right now from the 47 charts I looked at this morning. Yeah, so we could see back here. Now, what the hell was it? It must have been the, I don't remember. Things are bullish. Sometimes you get disoriented looking at 42 different things. I swear it was looking at the BLX. Yeah, doesn't matter. Let's go ahead and do some TA on all the other coins. All right. Let's see. Going from memory, what people say. Somebody that's in here all the time asked for, let's do ETH and ADA super quick, and then we're going to do, we'll do NEAR, we'll do XRP, we'll do Atom. Okay. 4 hour. We're going to look more locally. Oh, look at this. Inverse head and shoulders. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. And we've broken this neckline. What's the target here? This would be, this would be very bullish. This would be 22.9, which, 2,290. Now on this, the interesting thing about this is that this means we're also breaking this previous high, which is really showing that there's a continuation of bullish momentum. We're seeing the volume down here on the bottom trickle up. Now, if we kind of come here, option F from the top to the bottom, we can see, look at this. We got the 1.382 that's kind of up here in this region. If we go from a smaller, zone, we can go this zone right here, get an extension off this move. We can see that we have the 1.786. Yeah. So we've got some levels to get through, but things are looking bullish just on a price action level alone. Now, this is just looking really good. Ethereum's looking really good. If we zoom out on this, we look, okay, this is a little bit of cause for concern here, but then it completely reversed. You see this, what I'm talking about? MACD came down. Look at that, bounced on its slower moving average and then rocket back up, re-expansion. The question's going to be here, is this going to form a bearish divergence? The reason I say that is if we look at this, we see that momentum was expanding to the upside and now it's starting to round, now it's starting to round. You see this? So if this sort of gets pressure here and this rounds out and comes back down, we may be in for a little bit more of a consolidation for Ethereum. And we're seeing that this is rounding on price action as well. So we just want to pay attention. We want to really, yeah, money flow is coming up, but we're getting a bearish divergence on money flow. See this? So money, price action going up, money flow is coming down, meaning there's less fuel in the tank for it to have gotten to this level. So there are a little bit of causes for concern, or just, I should say, not concern, patience on what we're seeing here. If we come over here to the BitLab trading stack, we can see that, yeah, we're coming up into three bearish divergences. We're overheated on the significant movement. We're seeing the hidden volume is, two bearish divergences on volume here. This is, yeah, I would be hopeful, but have a little bit of caution right now with Ethereum. That may just mean that this needs to come back down, retest this zone right here before it continues lifting off. So now moving on to I almost said Cardano. Moving on to Cardano. Look at this, came back down, tapped this zone of liquidity right here on the order block. I'm so excited to share all the order block stuff with you all, and a lot of data. We got a lot of data that's going to be consolidated in a very understandable way in all these upgrades to the trading stack. Now, so Cardano, option T, got a bit of a sort of upward trajectory there. This is looking like a little bit of a, is it though? Is this a rising wedge? This is looking a little bit like a rising wedge. Yeah, overheated on the relative extreme, a bearish divergence on hidden volume, two bearish divergences on the market intelligence. So this is looking, if we kind of go this zone right here, let's do option F from this zone to the bottom just to make sure we have the correct fib, and look at this. We're coming up. We're having pressure right at the 0.5. If we do break up into the zone, I do think it's more likely than not, I think Cardano is going to get rejected from the golden pocket unless we get some dismissals or some clarity on some of the stuff that came from the SEC regarding Cardano, the securities, all that kind of stuff. Because this is looking like it's trying to set up for an inverse head and shoulders as well, which, if we look at this zone, option T, from here to the bottom, this is suggesting that this would basically come up and break this level, which I don't see happening right now. If we look on the traditional indicators, we can see stochastics are getting all the way up here. They're getting somewhat overheated, and this is not able to break past the 0.5. So a little bit of a hesitation for me with Cardano. But anything can happen. But I am leaning a little bit more consolidatory, is that a word? Or even coming down to at least test this level. If we lose this level, I'm thinking that we're going to be going right to this zone right here, down to 25.6. Now, near. I was like, what? Go ahead, take my face off. Let's do some math, baby. First things first. What do? We're patient. We try not to see a signal. We try to let the signal, like, take in all the data, what we got. Okay. And this is pushed up to this zone, got rejected at this previous low, and it's struggling at this level. If we take a zone from here, option F, Alt F if you're on PC. Okay, golden pocket is right in this zone. If we do it from this level, option F to this level, now we can delete this. Look at this. Came up, rejected as Army Piper talks about. We got a little bit of a bullish impulse fake out to the 786, came back down, retested back up. I guarantee you, look at this. I guarantee it. Look at this. So we have this move. You can do fibs on all time frames, by the way. So we have this impulse that comes all the way up to the 786. The candle bodies closed right around the previous low. So this was just a little bit of a liquidity grab up. This comes back down and pushes back up. Now let's do option F from the top of this move. We can actually do it from the candle bodies or the top of the wick. And we go like this. And look at this. Look at this from this move here on this impulse. Bearish impulse down, bounce, comes right up to the golden pocket of this specific move. I'm telling you, these golden pockets and 786s and 382s, they will give you so much information, at least a suggestion at minimum of where you can expect price action to either have a relief rally into impulse or a pullback down to, okay? So now on this zone, we can see right here, if we do from the bottom, option F to the top here, now look at this, we delete this one. Now look at this, this pushes up, comes down, and we from this moment to this moment, we knew where to draw our fib. From the bottom to the top, where could this likely get rejected down to? Down to what? Golden pocket. Look at this. Can you see what I'm seeing here? Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Use the tools that are available to you. Now, this is just price action. Now, let's go ahead and zoom out. Let's look at a little bit of what's happening on the price action. Money flow is coming up. So this is looking like it's trying to consolidate. Maybe we get a little bit of a, sideways price action here and then a test up to the top side of the range here. What I will say is look at this. Right here, right about the 50 line, the RSI on the 4-hour did come down, tested 50 line, and we could see that not only did it test it, it bounced, it went a little bit below it, but bounced up. But my fear here is that this is going to form a downtrend level like this because this found struggle right at the sort of moving average that we have right here. If we lose this level, I think we could be in for a little bit of chop, for instance, something like this, and then a continuation down like this. This is what I'm seeing just looking at the RSI. Now looking at the MACD, same thing. This is looking very weak at this level, and we are below. You see this price action? This is below this previous low here, and so this is looking like a still continuation of the trend down. So we need to pay attention to that. I'm leaning bearish. I'm leaning bearish on near. Yeah, I'm leaning bearish on near. Although the stochastics are angled up, they're looking like they're trying to round, which could look something like this. And we can revisit this, basically getting rejected here and coming down. But we can revisit this. Now looking at, we haven't looked at ICP in a while. Let's look at ICP. Okay, ICP. ICP, yeah, you know me. I'm down with ICP. Option J. We got a bit of a sideways range here. I just noticed that. Now we can also double click, zoom out, option T. We broke out of this. Okay, now option T. So we're getting our different levels that we can watch for price action. ICP is looking more bullish just looking at it, how it currently is. However, we want to watch this level right here, option J, which is exactly where it's testing. So what is this doing? This ICP is testing right at the level of this previous low. If we get rejected here, then this is a rising wedge. How do I know that? Because I'm looking at the price action, and we can see. You can do it. It can also be a little bit almost. Yeah, this is kind of like this. This is looking like a bit of a bear flag. You could draw it from multiple points because this is not quite a bear flag. But yeah, this is looking a little like it's a little nasty. You a nasty boy, yo. So if that's the case, then we'd be looking at this level here, option J. Let's go ahead and make this red. So if that's the case, this is likely going to get rejected in this zone and continue down. Now, after we look at price action, we see the volume coming down. The volume's starting to tick up though, but the volume it's barely, the volume itself is not even really breaking previous highs. You know, it's right at that level. So What I want to see here, if this were to go bullish, I would want this to break out and then break past probably both of these two highs right here because they're so close. But we can see this zone also has a lot of volume on it. So there's likely going to be some strong resistance here. So even if this breaks out and dips into this with the wick on a 4-hour, this is a 12-hour shit. My bad. Same thing. It looks the same way. If this breaks out on this level and tests into these regions and we cannot clear these two levels, then we have all this volume right here, which is basically a very strong, almost like a steel ceiling instead of just like a balsa wood or paper or something like that. Paper would be if there's very little volume there. And we can see there's a lot of volume above us and previous not only lows, but these highs here. If we can't clear this level, then I'm not looking to this level yet. If we even break out of this, I'm looking for a rejection down. And what's the strength level going to be at the zone? This very well could break out to the upside, pull back, and then continue on up. But this is looking like it's likely setting up for a bit of a trap, only to come back down and continue down. If this does just reject from here, then we'll watch right here at this level. Option J. This is 424, which is about 25 cents down. Why did I do it here, not right here? Because you see when this goes up, we have a little bit of movement and then it comes down. So let's go ahead and kind of move this up like right there, maybe 425, 426. That's what I'm seeing. If we lose that level, then, you know, we've got this zone. We got this zone right there, 392. If we lose that zone, then yeah, then we'll be looking at lower levels. Now let's go to, what were some of the other ones? Arbitrum you guys asked for. Arbitrum. Okay. This was the last time we did it over here when it had no price action. Now this is looking like it's trying to lean bullish. However, option T, however, there's not a lot of price action on this. So, okay, let's do this right here. Yeah. So previous lows, see lows, and then now highs. So this is looking like it's trying to do a W formation. So maybe there's a chance, but option F, bottom to top. I mean, this is a 382. If we cannot take 382, then we're not going to, we're not going to be going higher. If we look at the momentum indicators suggest, look at this. It's overheated and rounding on the stochastics already, right at this level. This is kind of, not really, but I was going to say this kind of looks, now that's really ugly. Sometimes it's experimentation. This is struggling here at the 50 level. If I had to guess, this will likely, yeah, a rising channel. If I had to guess, this will likely come up into this region. And then if it does continue up, I should say, and then get rejected and come back and test down to $1.11 and potentially even come lower, $1.05. Option J. Yeah, this is looking relatively confusingly strong and weak at the same time. Let's get some broader context. Okay, stochastics on the 12-hour, or daily, I should say. Stochastics are bouncing bullishly. Money flows coming up, and the RSI is above the 50 line on the daily. 12-hour, it's rounding. So look at this. It's rounding right at the 50 line coming down. Money flow is starting to roll over. So the momentum, see these moving averages? These two moving averages on MACD were angled up. Now they're starting to angle down. This is giving me a little bit of pause. 8-hour, yeah, this is, daily wants it to be bullish a little bit, but as we get closer down the time frames, this is looking like it's getting weaker into the zone. I would look for maybe even a consolidation in between these two zones here, and then we can revisit this. So now looking optimism. I'm Optimus Prime. Just trying to draw some references here. Option T. Okay, this is right at a critical juncture. This is on the 8 hour. Let's go to the 4 hour. Money flow is coming up, but it's rounding. Stochastics are angled very up. MACD is kind of angled up and then now flat. This is somewhat indeterminable. This is waiting on the move. This is waiting on some moves from what's going on with Bitcoin news narrative in the media. We see, look at this, previous support, rejection at the top, a little bit of support here, and we're pushing. Look at it, rejection. We're getting a little bit of these signs right here that we're coming into a little bit of a fight. Now we look at we have all this volume traded right here. Point of control. In fact, we're right at. So this is looking relatively weak. We got RSI is kind of in this zone right here. Option T on the stochastic. It's look like it's coming into some resistance. This could go either way. This could go either way. Let's go on the daily. Yeah, this is, if I had to guess, this is probably going to have a bit of a trap wick, come back in, and then lose this level and come down. If we get a bearish case for what happens with the volatility with Bitcoin. If Bitcoin starts running, then some of the questionability that we're seeing in this uncertainty, this may start to push up slower than Bitcoin, but it may break bullish. But if that were the case, then we want to watch for this level right here. Why are these all so dim? Come on, baby. Let's make it bright. There we go. So if this pushes bullish, I'm watching a $1.50 mark. And then this is kind of an interesting zone because we have all of this right here. God, why do I have to click everything 7 times? There we go. So we have a zone right here. I'm watching the $1.50 to $1.70, $1.65 zone. If we break out of this, even if we break out here, come back down and test and continue up, then the next level up, we'd be looking at 211. That's what I'm seeing there. What was quant? Looking very similar. Option T. This is coming right into a level of known resistance. We're coming right into an apex here, though. This is on the daily. Let's look daily. Okay, we're getting a little overheated, but the money flow, look at this, is pressing up. So this is giving me a little bit more. If this breaks to the upside, I'm looking for a zone between 118 to 122. If this gets rejected here, then what we're looking at is right in this zone. If this gets rejected and tests down to here, then I'm looking at $1.07. If we lose this, then if we lose this zone, then I think we're likely coming down to $1.02. But I am leaning a little more bullish on quant, partially because of the tokenomics. Yeah, stochastics aim straight up, money flows sharply up. I think we're going to come up here and test this again, $1.12. Then we can revisit it. Theta, we haven't looked at Theta in a long, I don't think we've ever looked at Theta. Option J, option T. Yeah, I'm thinking Theta likely comes up a little more, just to test into the zone, trying to test all the way up to the 80 cent, and we can revisit there. But I love you all. I really do. Appreciate you all. If you haven't yet, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell, get over to bitlabacademy.com if you haven't checked it out. Come over here, hit enroll. When you hit enroll, you can have the option to do the BitLab Pro, which is everything from indicators to the BitLab Premium Discord to all the courses, the current ones and the future ones. And you get all that at about 30% discount on a monthly basis when you buy everything together. Also, if you're a current member, you can log in and then add this to your cart. It will deactivate your other stuff and make it all just one singular billing and lower your monthly thing. If you want to add everything, we'll automatically make sure you get, and you'll get half off your first month. If you want the free stuff, check it out right here. Sign up for the start free. This is literally all you have to do is create an account. You start free. Basically, you get access to only the beginners courses. If you want the BitLab Premium Discord as well as all access to the courses, use this one right here. I want all access. Use Give Me 30 at checkout. You get 30% off everything. I love you all. I appreciate you all. If you haven't checked out BitLab Academy Twitter page, Check it out at Academy BitLab. Hit that follow button, hit that like button, and retweet this and hit that like button on this, and you get entered to win. We've been doing some great giveaways lately. Did $100 last week plus 3-month giveaway. Make sure you're following me right here at Kelly Kellam. With that, I got to head over to BitBoy Crypto because I got to do some TA there. And then after that, I'm going to be hosting the Blockchain Basement. So if you haven't ever watched that, definitely check that out. I'll be hosting with a couple of the members here from the HIT Network community. So without any further ado, I love you all. Peace and love. Adios, muchachos. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you for always tuning in. I'm bitlabacademy.com. Hit that like button, sucker.